Okay, so I have been testing this Osight optic here for several months. Here's the hood that comes off and the optic. This is the charging hood for the optic, and so this optic doesn't take changeable batteries. This optic takes this little iPod case so you can charge your optics. I've been testing these for a while, as I said, and there's three models that I have here. I have the littlest one. I've got the X and the S. S is the littlest one. I'll show you that one here in just a second. So I'm EagleRun23, and I like to make videos about firearms, test components, and things like that. And in this video, there's going to be potentially a little bit of controversy. I know that the last couple of times I posted videos on these, some people chime in and talk about how this is not the right direction that we should be going, but I actually think it's a really cool direction for EDC stuff to be going. And after putting them through a lot of testing, a lot of shots, I blew a lot of ammo through these guns that they're on. And so I want to offer my real take on what I think about the Osight optics. 9mm suppressed AR with the Osight S on top of it, and you can see there on top that we've still got plenty of charge. This is fully charged, and then you put it on here and you can see that, oh, the optic on the inside, it needs the hood back on in order to charge back up. So a pretty simple operation as far as you click the button, you can see the power, and then it charges the optic for you. And it really should just end right there, but of course, let's talk a little bit about how this controversy came to be. The bottom line here is that some of the original ones that went out, they had some mounting issues as far as the hardware was concerned. A couple of them weren't holding zero. Osight has acknowledged the issue and they have dealt with it. And the ones like the ones that I have, and the ones, if you go buy one, the ones that you'll be getting now, and actually this has been true for some time now. It's not like as of today. This one came to me in like December, and it was already better than the first round of ones. These came to me a couple of months later. I think it was right before or right after SHOT Show. I went to the Osight reveal at SHOT Show, got to meet the people there, some of the competitive shooters and stuff like that are running this optic, and see all of the stuff that they've done in order to combat their problem, fix it, and put out even better of an optic. I like to see a company acknowledge what they've done and move forward, and I think that's the best thing that we can take away here. So as we set today, these are all good to go. I have carried this actually a little bit. I was going to say I hadn't carried it very much. I haven't carried it very much recently, but coming home and putting the hood back on, when the hood is off, this optic works just like normal, shake awake, all those normal things. And then when you put the hood on, when you get home, it charges for you, and you don't have to worry about whether or not you've got a dead battery. I think that's one of the main concerns. We're all very reliant on these red dot sights now, and that's one of the main concerns, is that you just don't necessarily know if your battery is going to die, because as you wear it, if you're shaking it, that light's on. Maybe it doesn't last a year. Even if you're changing them on your birthday like you're supposed to, maybe they don't even last a year. So knowing your battery is maybe better than not knowing your battery. Let me go over the different guns that I've run these on. Of course, 80% Arms, GST9, all FDE. Love this gun. Love 80% Arms. This is a really good shooter. It's got the longer grip, so I can put the larger magazine in there. And I have carried this. I've been playing with some new Glock holsters, and so this one fits just fine in a holster. This is my 8.6 Blackout Bear Creek side charger that we painted to kind of match what they're doing at Q. Now, we're going to come back to this gun because I'm going to suppress it now. I think that will be pretty cool. But there's actually 3 different colors. There's that gray, and then 2 tones here, a bright nickel, and then a custom color that he mixed up for me to try to match. Of course, a dye-free company grip, and we painted up our pistol brace on there as well. So this is a 12-inch Bear Creek, factory Bear Creek barrel, factory everything. I just played with the Cerakote on this. Now, I ran this gun. 86 Blackout's expensive, so it's not like I put hundreds of rounds through it, but I put at least 50 or 60 rounds through it, enough to chip up my Cerakote right there with the little S. And so after we tested with that, kind of set on these for a little while, and then this 9mm project came up, and I thought a little RMR with a riser, that might be just the right size for this, and it actually was perfect to come up right in there. Shot some really great groups with this. Also playing with the anechoic suppressor and my airsoft quality cover. We're playing with those. I thought I would ruin it because it got really hot, and it seems to be doing just fine. So anyway, we'll talk about that in another video. But this gun ran great, put a lot of rounds through it, several hundred in the last couple of range trips. Once I got it zeroed, was able to stay on target, had no shift in zero, magazine after magazine, and been in and out of a range bag. I have not necessarily abused that one, but it's got quite a bit of time on it. So this one is the larger one. They have the X and the S. This is the X. It's pretty big, and it looks like either one of those covers will fit it. I think they're the same size. Yep, they are. So either one of those covers will fit, which is kind of cool. Let me swap the black one onto there. But that one has been on a different RMR riser, and I ran it on 5.56, a couple of rounds on an 8.6 Blackout, and then on a different 5.56, a pistol. It is now getting a different mount, and I think I'm going to put it back on the Bear Creek. We'll see about that, because I also could put a thermal on that as well. A lot of things are changing here. So battery life is solid, and I'm getting pretty close to what they advertised. In fact, if you can't even really accidentally leave it on, which is more of a feature than a bug, in my opinion. So the optics do really well. The glass is clear. For the price point, it's a crisp dot. I didn't get any starbursting. Looks like it stays where it's supposed to. It takes adjustments. All those things that you expect out of a red dot. I did shoot inside a range. I shot outdoors at my property. I don't think I hunted it. I did not hunt it, but so I didn't do anything in low light or anything, but indoors, outdoors, daylight, all sorts of things. No problems at all with it. The magnetic charging system is actually quite innovative in my opinion. This is actually a reason why some people don't like it, I think, but it's cool because it's new technology and it's a new way to do something. No one's done this before. No one's tried it before. To have a permanent battery in here that recharges with this, I think that's pretty cool. Obviously, if you lose these, you can get new ones, but this is a pretty cool way to do stuff. Will we see this take over with other manufacturers? I don't know. Maybe they have a patent on it and no one else can do it. I'm not for sure. But magnetic charging is pretty cool. These are both only available in RMR, which is relatively a standard footprint. It'll fit most things. You can get risers. It'll go to a lot of your aftermarket slides and things like that. All those aftermarket stuff, it's perfect for that. So I think it's important to be honest about the limitations of what this is. This gun is not yet set up as a home defense gun, but it very well could serve duty as a self-defense gun. Not really for sure that I trust it quite yet, but in the testing so far, it's done fine, runs with the Glock mag. I might want to change my buffer and my pistol stock a little bit, but in a home defense situation, knowing that your battery is live, that's the whole deal. Again, this is not the optic that you're going to put on a duty weapon and jump out of a helicopter with. So I think we have to be realistic about what they made here and what the intended purpose is. So I would say that you're getting into the realm of of a casual home defense situation like I'm looking at here. And as I mentioned, I've also carried this version, so that was definitely in a self-defense scenario. And if I know the dot's going to work and the battery's going to be charged, that's kind of the main things I'm looking for. If you don't have a battery indicator, you don't necessarily know your battery's charged, which, we're forgetful sometimes. We forget these things. So it's definitely not a Trijicon or an aim point. It wasn't intended to be, but the build quality of them, the way that they work, the functions, the features, the glass, it's all very appropriate for the price point. I have no problem recommending this to you. You're seeing me using them. I'm going to continue to use them. This isn't a situation where they send this in to me, I play with it, and then it sets in a drawer. I'm anticipating putting these guys to use. So who exactly else are these for? Well, if this is a range toy at this point. If you've got a range toy and you don't want to put a $400, $500 red dot on it, this is a really cool option for that, and lets you kind of play with some new technology. I've said this a bunch of times, not every single gun we own needs a $3,000 scope or, a $700, $800, $900 Trijicon. You probably do need a gun that has one of those, but not every gun that we have a lot of guns. We play with guns. We have guns that serve no purpose other than just being a range toy. And so, yeah, this could be a great option for that. But also, as I've mentioned, leaning into the self-defense scenario. Are there better red dots on the market? Yes, there are. Of course there are. Are there worse red dots on the market? 100%. Yes, they are. Just in shooting these, the glass did not fall off, and they held zero. They moved where they were supposed to move. When I made a turn, it went where it should have went on paper. And so I've experienced that on all three of these. So I think when you're considering an option like this, you just need to make sure that you understand its limitations, your limitations, and that you're buying something appropriate for that build, whether it's a range toy or whether it's something that you're going to jump out of a helicopter with. All right, guys, check out the Osight. I've got a link for these down below. One more cool thing is they're available on Amazon, so you could probably have this tomorrow or the next day if you wanted to try it out. All right, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.